Not surprising, nobody leaving the Foro Italico before this one finishes. Every bit as dramatic as we thought it would be. And it will be Federer to start the fifth.
So right off the opening point, Nadal looking for a way to build up some energy. And that's just what he needed. A minor breakthrough on the Federer serve.
No, he hasn't hit that shot as well as he hit it in Monte Carlo, and I think again you have to say that Federer has just been a little bit more aggressive into his backhand corner. Nadal stopping the point, saying that that ball is long and there won't be any marks around at the moment, seeing as the court's just been prepared, so no trouble to find the mark. And Romano Grolotti with a big call to make early in the fifth. And Romano had a little look at that one.
Well, you have that right to challenge a call in the middle of a point. If the umpire says it's good, that call stands and you can lose the point. But Nadal had faith in what he saw.
And Federer had faith in his forehand once again. Nadal just hasn't been able to get himself a decent length off his backhand return, pretty much off either side, deuce or add. And Federer's forehand again is just from another planet.
Yeah, he has really been tidy with this, and that has some juice behind it. Look at it accelerate through the court. Well, both men so good at reading patterns of play, and Nadal anticipating that backhand. He was there a half step quicker and made a very difficult volley for Federer.
Oh, he got away with it.
Yeah, he really did, didn't he? He just finished thinking, okay, I'll just put it in the court, but you know Nadal, he'll always run for one more shot. And the lob falling short enough. And look at Nadal saying, oh, I had a chance.
It's really been a telling shot this last set and a bit for Federer. That backhand once again Nadal having to cover him more of the court. And the world #1 takes this first game of a final set of a final that now has become the longest of the year. The previous was in Monte Carlo between the same two players. 3 hours and 50 minutes then. And we've gone past that.
Well, I'm not surprised. These two are so evenly matched. And in terms of ranking points, boy, they've left a bit of space between numbers 3 to 100. Of course, a fair amount of space between Federer and Nadal in the rankings. Nadal's fast improving play on other surfaces will be a real consideration if he's to mount a serious challenge for #1. Whereas Nadal looking for Masters Series title #6. He already has 5 Masters Series title, which puts him in pretty good company at 19 years of age. I mean, Becker had 5, Courier had 5, Gustavo Kuerten, Marcelo Rios all had 5 Masters Series title, and all of those men held the #1 ranking.
Federer's held the #1 ranking since the 2nd of February 2004. Total of 119 weeks consecutively at the moment, and stands 5th in that, behind Pete Sampras, 286 weeks, Lendl 270, Connors 268, and John McEnroe with 170 weeks consecutively at the top.
And Federer won't be surrendering that top rank anytime soon. Certainly winning or losing this match won't affect his status at the top of the game. And you have the feeling he's going to run out this year with the point total he has. Unless there was a dramatic drop in play or perhaps injury, but I mean, he looks like he's on his way to another year-end finish at the top of the game.
So a convincing hold at the start of the final set for Nadal. It was less convincing towards the end of that 4th set, and that's just what he needed to settle his nerves. And undoubtedly he'll be having a few nerves as well. He's defending his title here.
What are we going to do to settle our nerves here? I mean, this is tough to watch. Talk about drama, back and forth affair.
Federer's record since the beginning of 2004, I mean, it is actually staggering. He's managed to win 26 titles in 38 starts.
And only 12 singles losses. That's just incredible.
I'd already had those by March.
January. No, was it good? Over the baseline. And how about this scoreline? Is this point important?
We are so used to seeing Nadal make that. You almost feel he's having an off day when he doesn't.
That was a good backhand up the line from Nadal. Federer just sneaking to his right to anticipate the cross court.
And Nadal putting Federer's serve under siege early in the fifth. And again, Federer responds to the challenge. Couple of big first serves, get him out of trouble. Nadal was knocking on the door, but he couldn't push it open. And we're on serve in the fifth, 2-1. It's been a beautiful day in Rome to grace the occasion, and there are some people that say, well, it's only the Grand Slams that matter. Well, tell Federer and Nadal that right now, when they're locked in battle. This match means the world of both of them. Nadal trying to continue his supremacy over the world number one. And Federer trying to prove to not just himself but the rest of the world that he is capable of beating Nadal on Nadal's best surface. Unanswerable tennis from Federer. And he's bossing the junior around at the moment.
Now, whenever Federer gets the approach shot right, that combination of pace and length, he's got some open court to volley into, and he measured that perfectly.
You know Nadal's not going to take it lying down. Suddenly Nadal electing to go big into Federer's strongest wing.
And I think Nadal could use a bit more of that. Dictate play, push his man around a little more.
Not always easy to do that when you haven't been doing it particularly well in the course of the match, and all of a sudden when it's all on the line. But I think Federer has done a great job of taking Nadal out a little bit out of his comfort zone today. Carlos Costa there, former player and now agent.
That's a cheap point to give your opponent there. Not much behind that serve, and a fairly routine return.
Solid finish once again.
El Omar Sharif like that volley. Wasn't he Lawrence of Arabia? Is that right, Mar?
He was. Well, Roger Federer doesn't need to impersonate anybody. He's Roger Federer. Why would you want to be anyone else when you can hit shots like this?
Yeah. This is Roger of Switzerland here.
The first break point of the final set. It's out, and Federer has broken. And a quite extraordinary comeback here by Roger Federer. It's far from accomplished, but it's been riveting viewing.
Now, we said at the start of this match that this was one of those tickets that you save in your sock drawer. You put it in your mirror and you say, I was there when Federer and Nadal squared off in Rome. And boy, this has delivered. What a match.
And the crowd so appreciative of the effort and the endeavour that Federer has put into this match, right behind him. And he keeps getting better and better.
You know, about an hour ago, Mark, we were saying that Federer looked a bit listless. He was struggling, looking discouraged, and suddenly the magic is back. The feel, the energy to take the ball early and see the options and pick the right one. The genius has returned.
Just not quite there for Nadal at the moment. And one wonders whether the weight of expectation in terms of all the talk around Guillermo Vilas's record is just getting to him in this final set. Tragedy. He's been involved in a few big occasions himself in Davis Cup over the years, and here in Rome, a winner, former winner here. He's come back from the brink before in finals of Masters Series. We saw it here last year against Correa. Maybe that's where Nadal's drawing his inspiration from. It is long, and Federer wants it checked.
Don't that alla palla, cazzo. Not a second. Not a second. No, no. It's this one. This is the ball, and he's out. What? Was clearly out. Roger, I leave the mark because it was clearly out from the chair, believe me. It was out before.
Well, I think Federer just a little frustrated that Romano Grolotti couldn't find the mark straight away, but to be fair, and you can see the replay by Hawkeye, that ball long, and all of a sudden this final set again could have a different complexion. That was some return, wasn't it?
Well, Nadal is so good at making you play, and he managed to get the ball back into play, and you could feel the tension as Federer produced one of his best forehands cross court. Played through the pressure so beautifully. Back to the safe haven of deuce.
His fortunes today have been decided by that one particular shot, the forehand, and the pressure telling on Federer.
You know, 9 out of 10 times he would go the other way, but he was thinking about his opponent, tried to pull it away from the forehand.
Rafael. Such character under pressure.
The life of a tennis coach.
The courage and conviction to do what's right in the most intense situations and execute it to perfection.
Well, that backhand, the telling shot, quickly recognizing the forehand. No mistakes on that finish.
That's long. Federer hangs on to his service game. He consolidates the break. And Rafael Nadal right up against it. 1-4. We found out a lot about Roger Federer today. We've found out a lot about him over these last 3 years, what he's made of, but perhaps this will be one of his greatest victories ever. One of his most satisfying, I'm sure.
Well, after the second set and then after the third, I mean, you felt that he was looking for the next Swiss Air flight to Hamburg. I mean, he was that far down, almost disconsolate. Somehow, he has hauled himself back against one of the most determined competitors in the world. I mean, this has been a battle of wills. And right now, the edge is to Federer.
And now it's Nadal's turn to try and use the crowd, and he's getting himself pumped up.
Now, I love this about Nadal. I mean, this has a little bit of that Jimmy Connors about him. That willingness to show the passion, bring the crowd into everything he's doing, share it with them.
Perhaps the run of 3 games for Federer taken a lot out of him. Remember, he was taking a juice in his opening couple of service games in this set, and then having to save break points in his last service game as well. So Nadal's been knocking on the door. Now this set far from over, and Tony Nadal knows that.
Yeah, that's a statement game right there from the Spaniard. And you can see he's making himself move, build up the passion. We didn't see much of this in that 4th set when Federer was pushing him around, but he's trying to draw a line in the clay. The run stops here.
And a big point for Nadal. An enviable situation in many ways for Federer, because there is so much pressure and tension, and yet he has to be the shot maker, the aggressor. It's been Federer's day in terms of those types of points. He's got away with a couple, and he's probably deserved his luck as well.
Yeah, well, Nadal had a couple of swings there, but just couldn't do enough. Still some work to do for Federer. Oh, an ace right down the tee.
Just had to get it over the net. Sounds easy, and he made it look easy. But it was the forehand again that did the damage.
Well, Nadal took a chance by running around the backhand. It opened up the court. And the world number one wisely attacking into that space. He knows how much that point means. Here's a point for 5-2.
It was never going to be that easy, was it? He would have loved it to have been, but Nadal responds. Well, you can only marvel at his resilience. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, suddenly he's the aggressor. Can Federer keep surviving on his own serve? He can't, not this time anyway, and Rafael Nadal is right back into this final set. It's incredible. You just cannot write off either man.
Well, what a sensational turnaround by Nadal. Federer had a point to get to 5-2, but Nadal just willed himself back, didn't he? Somehow able to dig so deep and find something. And he always plays with an element of safety with the spin, so just adding a little more sting, still so effective.
And that was the difference. I mean, he was staying back a little bit, expecting Federer to miss, which he did on the first couple of points, but then suddenly at 40-30, as you say, Leif, added a little bit more sting, venom to his forehand, which created the moment for him to get the break back. And again, you just have to love his attitude on the court.
Now, it's a family affair, isn't it? For a long time, he was induced to come to Barcelona and train with the top Spanish players, even as a very young player. And he said, no, I'm going to stay right here in Mallorca with my family. A couple of players that he trains with there. So very comfortable in his own way getting this work done, and he's ended up in a remarkable place.
Yeah, still in the same apartment building and everything, and it's worked for him. It's worked beautifully, and he's also a real asset for the tour. And the crowd here at the Foro Italico loving every moment of this. Nadal at 3-4, final set.
Well, it had to be a strong backhand to find an error on the Nadal forehand. They are on the edge of their seats.
His fourth ace. And then it's a match where you've come to expect the unexpected. Almost 4 hours and 30 minutes.